Hi everyone, it's Victoria Kennedy, medium clairvoyant from Los Angeles, California, and on tonight's episode of Rant and Rave, I kind of want to touch base about telephone calls and the type of calls that I get on a daily basis. Now, some of these calls that come in, they're great and they're amazing people who, want a reading or they want to book a clearing, whatever it might be. And then you have the people who call and you're really thinking deep down inside, like, why are you calling me? And I try to be really, really, really nice. And I let the ones who really don't know what they want or they have underlying issues and then right away they think they're being spiritually attacked. These are the ones that they are mad at the world. They have some type of a mental health situation that's going on, or maybe even a mental health crisis. So that's why I try to be really nice to them. Well, actually, I don't try. I am nice to them. I kind of let them say whatever they want to say. And then I kind of give them whatever it is that I'm feeling or whatever it is that Spirit is directing me to let them know. Today I get this call. And again, people have their own beliefs, whether you believe in God, Buddha, the trees, whatever it is that you believe in. You have the right to believe in whatever it is that makes you happy. And that's just anything general in life, including your higher self. We all have free will. So she calls me today. She starts saying that she is being spiritually attacked. She sees dark, I don't know, maybe like dark colored orbs, maybe. I really don't know. Off of her dog, or off of a dog. I want to say this dog might be a family dog. She went to the doctors. She wasn't able to be located in the system, and she kind of had like this AI type of a vibe going on. That's what she had said to me. So she said her family is trying to get her into this psych ward. They don't believe that she has these spiritual gifts. Her stepdad is an alcoholic. Her mom is a narcissist. So when she said she wanted to kind of consult with another psychic, I just kind of was letting her ramble on, and she kind of kept telling me these things. And then she asked me at the end, is this something that you feel you might be able to help me with? Okay. So she does not let me say yes or no or nay or yay or anything. And she automatically goes into saying he's doing this to me. And then I asked her, okay, well, who is he? And what is he doing to you? Okay. So immediately when she started saying he is doing it to me, I already kind of felt she has some type of a mental condition. But I'm not judging her. I just feel that she needs to find the appropriate therapist who is going to be able to give her the appropriate medications. I kind of feel that she was kind of starting to spiral. And then she says, God is doing this. Do you work with God because of God? Because. And I kind of had to stop her, and I said, okay, so two things. And I said, first of all, I am not a psychic. I am a medium. There's a big difference between a medium and a psychic. Psychics are pretty much past, present, future, but psychics are not mediums. Very, 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 and I mean very few are. However, mediums are also psychics. It just depends on what it is that you kind of like to practice, I guess. Like whatever your niche is. And I try to explain to her, as a medium, I do clearings, I do, readings. And then she immediately stopped me and said, do you do muscle testing? So if any of you have ever maybe I've seen a couple of videos of this on TikTok. It's probably like the only way I'm going to be able to explain this. So muscle testing is basically if you hold your arm out. It could be either arm, your left or your right, or it could be both, right? And the person who's doing this will ask you a question. So, for example, let's say somebody asks me, Victoria, are you a medium? So they kind of lightly kind of press down on my arm to see if it goes down, right? And that is indicating yes. If they ask, Victoria, are you a rocket scientist? And they press on my arm and it's not going to move. Okay. So even right now, when I'm asking those questions, Victoria, are you a medium? And I press down on my arm, it automatically goes down with ease. If I ask myself, Victoria, are you this rocket scientist? I press, but it doesn't go down. So that's pretty much what muscle testing is. She said she has done this, pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She clears herself, but there's things in the home that she feels it's haunted, but it's not ghost. So she kind of threw me for a loop right there. Okay. I'm literally outside my front yard grounding while I'm watering the front yard. And the first thing I said after that, well, I didn't say that out loud. I was obviously thinking it was, oh my goodness, it has been one of those days. So, I again stop her, and then she interrupts and says she has ADHD or ADD, whatever that combination is, right? And she asked me again, and in this weird type of a tone, and she said, I'm going to ask you again, how do you work? And I said to her, well, if you would not have interrupted me earlier, you would have heard that I work through God. Why would I not work through God? And again, she says, this is who's doing this to me. Because of God. Because. And, again, we all have our own personal beliefs. What we believe in, what we don't believe in. And I'm not here to try to make anybody believe that there is a God or there isn't a God or whatever, right? I just know that with my foundation and with what I do, these gifts are God-given gifts. So do I bring God forward in everything that I do? Absolutely. Not only in my, when I'm going out and doing clearings or readings, but in my everyday life, from the moment I wake up to the time I go to bed. And she hung up on me. So one of my pet peeves is people hanging up on me. I just don't get it. Like, why do people do that? If you want to piss me off, just hang up on me, because, like I said, that is totally one of my pet peeves. So as much as I wanted to call her back and be like, oh, hey, I think we got disconnected, I just decided to leave it, and I took it as a blessing in disguise. She hung up on me. Thank you, God. I'm done with that. And as I mentioned, I talk to a lot of people, and they are either really nice, really cool, they're awesome, and sometimes they are those people who you really have to stop and pace yourself, the things that you're going to say, right? But again, I definitely took it as a blessing in disguise. But one of the things, and this is the second time it's brought up, she kind of had mentioned that she had like this AI type of a vibe. When she went into this doctor's office, they were not able to find her records, and this was a new doctor. And again, I guess like AI pretty much sabotaged her. No clue. But, when it comes to AI, and, I actually like AI. I like AI because it fixes my sentences. If I'm writing something, which, by the way, right now I'm kind of working on a book, I pretty much just go in there and type whatever. I put it in there and it shoots it out all nice, pretty, and clean with punctuation where it needs to be and the spelling where it needs to be. So I actually do like AI, and my wife actually uses it too. But When you say you walk into a place and you have like this AI type of a vibe, I'm not really sure what that means or what it meant, because AI is not real. That's why it's called artificial intelligence. AI is something that has been made. Okay, it's like somebody went into the kitchen and put all the ingredients together and voila, you have AI, right? That's kind of how it was made, and it's going to continue to just get stronger and stronger and to be able to do more things. But the one thing that I know, no matter how deep AI gets, AI is never going to be able to have a spiritual connection. AI will not be able to have a spiritual connection simply because it is made up. It is, I guess we could say, man-made. It's artificial, right? So, when she kind of said that, it's like, well, are there little AI robots walking around that doctor's office? Do they just hit delete on absolutely everything that is going on in your life? Apparently she's having electronic problems. Her parents want to put her in a psych ward, wants to give her medication. Family doesn't want to help her. She's, 30 some odd years old. She's a energy worker and a psychic, and it just goes on and on and on. So, again, I have seen firsthand, and again, I'm not trying to make you a believer or a non-believer. You either believe or you don't. But I have seen firsthand how people's lives are when they don't believe in their higher power. And it's sad. It truly is. I had once I had somebody tell me who was sitting in my car, and trust me, I really wanted to ask her to unbuckle her seatbelt so I can just slam on my brakes, but I didn't. That was actually really nice. So she had once told me, well, when you die, that's it. And when she told me that, it just felt really hollow. It's the only way that I can actually explain it. It felt really, really hollow, and it kind of felt ugly. The energy that was coming, from her in regards to what she said. And I didn't say anything aside from, I'm sorry that you believe that. I'm sorry that you believe that, this is it. That you're just gonna, you're here one day, the next day you're gonna die, be put in a box 6 feet under the ground, and there you're going to just rot away, I guess. So maybe it kind of, like I said, the energy was really heavy when she told me that, which we know is not the case, because it's the physical body that dies, not the soul. The soul is continuous. And when I kind of look back at that, after she had mentioned that to me, I kind of then started to realize how her life was. She was drinking all the time. She was not happy. She was having marital problems. She has 2 beautiful sons. I'm pretty sure they're already graduated from high school now. And every time that I would see them, they just gave me that impression as if they were just waiting for the day they graduated so they can just get out of Dodge, basically. So, and there's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with people going and having drinks, but there's a difference between casual social drinking versus every night pretty much just getting drunk. Every weekend just getting drunk till you're puking your lungs out, okay? Then I've had another person who didn't believe, did some black magic, and eyes turned black, just foaming at the mouth, in my car, mind you. And, another one is, hearing somebody, how bad their life is and how unhappy they are and how they choose to be in bad relationships and bad situations because they don't have that ultimate power, that higher power that they can turn to. And don't get me wrong, my wife knows absolutely every single thing about me. It's actually kind of scary, honestly. She knows every single thing about me. If I have a problem or I'm worrying about something or whatever it is, I go to her. Without a doubt, I go to her. I have a great relationship with my wife. I have an amazing relationship with my son. But there comes that time when you just know, okay, I have to go to God with this, or my higher power, or whomever your higher power is. And when you learn how to unleash, to let go of wanting to have that complete control and blaming others, why it's so bad and why your parents want to put you in a mental facility, why they want to drug you up and nobody in your family will help you. You know, you're going to leave and have to go to some type of a shelter. That's because there's no belief system. She had mentioned that she's not able to tap into her psychic abilities. She's like, it's nothing. Like if it's non-existent. It's non-existent because she has not fully recognized where her gifts come from or how she got her gifts. And she can blame, and that's all she did during this telephone conversation was blame every single person aside from her own self. She never once took accountability, never once took responsibility for her own actions. When there's something going on, it's always going to be, a two-way street. There's no way I'm going to go to my mom and say, Mom, your son did this, did this, did this, did this, did this. Because she's just going to laugh and she's going to say, okay, and what did you do? I didn't do anything. Okay, she knows it's not going to be true. And chances are she's going to know that I probably did something to piss off my brother. But anyhow, it's another story. But she never took responsibility. She never once said, my mom is doing this, and maybe it's probably because I'm doing this. So she just kind of gave me that impression that she just literally walks around her whole entire house or her mom's house, just kind of screaming, kind of like a really young child who has no self-control. Or the kids that you see sometimes in Walmart. I know we've all seen them when their parents are just walking and their kid is like screaming at the top of their lungs and starts to throw themselves on the floor just so they can get some type of a candy or their parents' attention. That's the impression that I got with her. And like I said, once that call went silent and I looked and I was like, she hung up on me. Well, I have to be honest, when she hung up on me, and I pretty much knew she hung up on me, I pretty much said, that bitch. But at the same time, I took it as a blessing in disguise. The problem was gone. She would have been the problem. She would have been the issue. And why? Because she doesn't take any type of accountability. And don't get me wrong, she's not the only person who has called me and has kind of gone on a tangent, such as herself. It happens. And I mean, it happens. But it's one of those things, you just kind of have to take it, I guess we could say, one day at a time. And kind of, show some type of sympathy towards these people who call. Do I feel she needed some type of spiritual intervention? I don't. Do I feel she needed more of a therapist session? Absolutely. In order for us to kind of gain that momentum with what it is that we want to do, or even if you're tapping into your own gifts. We all have gifts. We were all born with our spiritual gifts. And even if you're tapping into those, you have to realize that there's I can't talk right now, got tongue tied, that you obtain those gifts from your higher power. So if I would have said, no, I don't work through God, then that would have been my bad. Because I feel if I would have said no, which I would not have, I feel as if I were denying God, denying my higher power, denying the person that I am. So I never have any problems telling people how I work. I work through my inner Christ. I work with God. I work with all the beautiful many, which is going to be our spiritual family that we're born with. But I guess she didn't want to, I guess she just didn't want to hear that. Oh well. She can go in her room, yell, scream, or go to Walmart. I have no idea where she's going to go or what she's going to do. But again, taking accountability for one's actions is so important. You know, I don't like to say sorry if I know I'm in the absolute right. If I know I am right, I'm not going to say sorry. I'm not going to say sorry just so I can be like, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry I threw that glass of water on you, but you were irritating me. I'm not going to say sorry. I will say sorry if I know that I was in the wrong or I did something that was out of character that I needed to take responsibility for. That is why I am extremely careful about the things that I say, how I say them, because if I tell somebody, F you, F off, go fall down go jump in the 12-inch, go jump in the deep end of the pool with a brick tied to your ankle. I'm really going to mean that. But if I tell somebody what I truly and honestly think of them, know that it's always going to be truthful. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm a very, upfront person. If you're irritating me, I'm going to tell you. If I really don't care for you, I'm going to tell you. If I say you're awesome, you're pretty cool, I like you, I'm going to tell you. And if I want nothing to do with you, I am going to tell you. I'm not going to waste my time trying to pretend I'm somebody who I'm not, just so you can have your own, gratification, I guess we can say. But the bottom line is, always take responsibility for your actions and never deny who your higher power is. Okay, if you have your belief system is the tree in front of your house, this big beautiful oak tree, that's your higher power, the more power to you. The more power to you. But at least you have a belief system. You can believe in a chair. The chair is my higher power. Okay, good for you. Now go sit on that chair and have a conversation with your higher power. Because your higher power is not going to be upset or be mad that you're not recognizing him or her as God or as Jesus or as any other ascended master. Because when you talk, when you go outside and you look up at the sky and sometimes you're just quietly thinking or you're quietly asking questions, you're going to get a response. So regardless if, God is to you God, source, the light, that big beautiful tree that's in front of your house, then more power to you. But just know that you're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. And until you're able to realize that, you're going to have to come back and redo this life over and over and over again. And that's called karma. And unfortunately, the person who called me, that's what she is on. She's on the karmic wheel until she can learn how to take responsibility for her own actions. It's gonna not get any better. She has to be able to realize that this is also 50% her and 50% them. It's not going to be 100% all of them and none of you. So until she stops playing the victim, she's going to be repeating this life over and over and over again. She'll have the same audience, which is going to be, she'll have the same narcissist mom. She'll have the same alcoholic stepfather. She'll have the same energetic problems, I guess we could say, where family doesn't want to really help her. Family probably doesn't want to help her because she never takes responsibility for her own actions. So think about that. Next time you're in the wrong, it's okay to apologize. If you know absolutely that you were not in the wrong, why apologize? You know, I have conversations with my siblings, and let me tell you, do I want to come back again and have the same siblings? That's a big no. My sister, I don't mind. But my siblings, no. But I know that it's not all of them. I know that I have to take some of that responsibility too. I know that when I see my brother and he's just being a total jerk, yes, I have other words for him. And I, irritate him even more because I'm laughing at him and he gets so mad. And I don't know how many times he's kicked me out of his house, right? But I just pretty much sit on his couch and I'm cracking up. I know that I'm egging that situation on, right? Because that's what we're doing. But I am not going to apologize for him being mad. I will apologize for making him, become more upset than what he really was. But for him already being upset at whatever situation, I'm not going to apologize for that. But I will apologize for being a jerk to him. That I will do. So again, people, take responsibility. If you're going to be an asshole, be an asshole. If you're going to be a jerk, be a jerk. If you're going to be this lovely, wonderful person, be that person. But please do not call me and hang up on me. That is the worst thing you can do, unless you really want to piss me off. All right, everyone. Many blessings to you all. And until next week, stay safe.